Hey, YouTube family and GN subs. Our thoughts and prayers go out to those over in Ukraine affected by the war. I want to acknowledge also those Russians who are protesting in peril. We pray for peace in the world. That's what I do. We pray for peace. And I have some good news. I have some good news for those Ukrainians who are here in the U.S. For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Humberto Gray, Attorney at Law, and I bring good news, guys. Go check out our playlist. They're great. It organizes content, question you have answered. If you go through that content, look at the videos on certain subject matter, it's awesome. You might want to check it out. All right, so Alejandro Mayorkas and DHS just designated Ukraine as a country for TPS. As you may or may not know, TPS is temporary protected status for those particular regions and countries where there's conflict, where there's war, where there's a disaster that happens. The country can be designated for temporary protected status. So what does that mean? Those who are in the United States, they can get a deferred status. In this particular case, for Ukrainians that were physically present in the United States as of March 1st, 2022, they can apply for what's called TPS. So they make an application. It gives them a deferred status in the United States. Legal gives them authorization to work. So it's good. They've designated this particular TPS for Ukraine for 18 months. So you'll get an approval, you can get an EAD, work permit that's valid for the 18-month period. If it applies to you, hey, take advantage of it. I had clients here in the U.S. From many parts of the world that have been on TPS for quite some time. El Salvador, Guatemala, Sudan. They've been here, they've been working legally, they get, work authorization, and who knows, at one point they may also designate permanent resident status through adjustment for some of these TPS individuals, refugees. They did it in 1934. It was actually refugees from Russia in 1934. Congress passed a law, they adjusted in the United States, and they got green cards. All right, another bit of good news. DHS is filing affirmative dismissals for those who are in removal proceedings. Generally, what happens if you have a removal case where you're being deported, right? You're in front of a judge, you're in front of the trial attorney, and they're trying to deport you. So you're under proceedings. If you have a case that you can take to USCIS and adjust, let's say while you were in proceedings, you got married to a US citizen and you can get your green card with immigration, then generally what you have to do is you have to file a joint motion to dismiss. You ask the government attorney, will you join in with me so this case can be dismissed so I can pursue my case in front of USCIS? Well, DHS is affirmatively pulling cases and filing dismissals, which is great news, folks. So if you're under proceedings and all of a sudden you get your case terminated, that's great. That's what happened. What's happening? The courts are too full. So there is a policy that they get rid of these cases, even such that the trial attorney who's supposed to be removing you is dismissing your case in court. So that's great news. All right, another bit of good news. Our lawyers at AILA, they won a huge case, right? So under Title 42, it was a pretext because of COVID. They weren't allowing those seeking asylum at the border to come in the U.S. They had to remain in Mexico. It was called the Remain in Mexico policy. Well, a judge said no. If an individual is coming to the U.S. to claim asylum, then they have to have a hearing. Okay, you can't just have them remain in Mexico and do nothing while they're waiting for a hearing. They get to come in the U.S. They have their right to have a hearing. I've always thought of that. I thought of the international convention, under treaty that allows for individuals to claim asylum. That policy goes against a treaty, which is the highest law in the world. I never knew how they did it, but I tell you, AILA lawyers, great win. All right, this is a bit of good news out of California. So undocumented are going to be able to collect unemployment. There's a bill that's about to be passed, and I think it's going to happen, where undocumented individuals who couldn't benefit under unemployment when COVID hit, so many lost jobs, right? They were working diligently here in California. They lost their jobs because of the pandemic, and they couldn't collect unemployment because they were undocumented. Well, this will allow them to collect $300 a month. It's sort of an unemployment. Why? Because last year they contributed $690 million in taxes here in California. So they should be able to benefit. They fall on hard times, they lose their job, they should be able to get some type of unemployment. It's only fair. So that's good news in California. All right, so those of you who are new to the channel, I share real cases that I'm working on in my office. So I have a real case here. This is really cool. So this is a receipt of an I-751 petition. This is where you filed to remove the conditions on your green card through a marriage case, right? And so once you file for the removal of the condition, you get this receipt, and this receipt automatically extends your green card. So you see here, it's extended now for 24 months. They used to only extend it for a year, and then they went to 18 months. Now it's 24 months, which is great because usually it takes about that much time before you get the interview to remove the condition. It's been taking about 2 years, right? So during that pendency now, your green card's extended. You can travel with this original receipt without getting any stamps in your passport down at immigration. You can't even get appointments these days. So you could travel with this. It automatically extends a green card. It's great news, 24 months now. Hey, YouTube family and GN subs, thanks so much for watching GrayLaw TV. Click below, like and subscribe. We're getting up there. We're getting close to those 5 million views and, up to 60,000 subscribers. It's because of you. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.